Welcome back to Hot Wheels Garage. So if you're watching this video, most likely you have already bought your hydraulic clutch cable adapter plate, and you've either bought the whole kit and you're just looking at this video just for more information, or you decided that you are going to make your own cable. It doesn't hurt to make your own cable, and in some applications you may need to make your own cable just because of length issues. Most of these cables, though, shouldn't really be an issue as far as length. The issue of concern would be the amount of throw, but these cables are adjustable, so that allows us to get away with playing with the length of the cable without having to cut it. So what you're going to need, of course, you're going to need your plate, which you can get through the Festiva store, so make sure you get that. And then you will need two cables. You'll need a stock cable from your Festiva, Aspire, Mazda 323 GT, whatever you're using for your donor car. There's 4 pieces that we will take from this cable. First off, we're going to need the retaining clip. This is underneath by the pedal assembly. It locks onto the retainer here, so you're going to need the clip. The second piece we're going to use is the retainer itself. This is what's going to go into the pedal assembly and lock our sheathing in for our cable. Third piece, which is optional, you may find this on some cars. Some of them might have rotted away already. If you find it, great. The Festiva store will be offering, when you buy the whole kit, they will all have the grommet, so that'll make sure that keep the engine noise compartment and the engine compartment quiet, as well as retain OEM looks. The fourth part that you'll need will be the clevis. This is the piece that attaches onto the pedal assembly itself. This is going to be a multi-step video, and I'm going to start off with the first couple steps, what you're going to get and what you'll need to do. So first thing we'll do is we'll cannibalize the stock Festiva cable. As I said, it's as simple as cutting off the old lug. And to cut off the old lug, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. Either get a nice set of snips. You can use an angle grinder, possibly even sheet metal snips may cut through it. They are pretty stiff. Angle grinder would be a good option. Everything I'm doing today could be done with the $10 Harbor Freight angle grinder, so you don't have to spend a lot of money on tools to do this. What I have decided to use, though, makes it a little bit easier, less mess for me, is using a Dremel rotary, and I'm using their Easy Lock cutting set. This will usually come with 2 different bits, one for cutting metal and one for cutting plastic, which is perfect for our application here because we will be cutting some metal and some plastic. So the first thing you're going to do when you get, So the first thing we're going to do, you're going to order your clutch cable for a Mustang. This is for 87 to 93, or maybe some other, maybe 79 to 93. But this one, specifically when I went on eBay, I typed in 1993 Mustang adjustable clutch cable, and there will be thousands of vendors selling these clutch cables. I have ordered from 3 different sources, and each one has a little bit different variation of the cable, but from the 3 different ones I have here, all of them seem that they are compatible with this, having any issues yet. So first thing we're going to do when we get the cable, you're going to notice that our adjustable side, we're actually going to want to swap this cable out and put it onto this side. We're going to take this rubber grommet off. It just pulls off. Take that, throw it in the garbage. You can take this metal retaining clip off too, stick it in a vise, peel it back with a screwdriver, hit it with a couple hammer a couple times, it'll come right off. So then once we've done that, we're left with an empty cable. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a step. You'll cut the lug off once again. So once you've gotten this piece off, the grommet piece off, your next step will be to take this end with the crimp, cut this end off. I would just do as close as possible, leave yourself a lot of cable so that allows you for some mistakes. So cut that off, and then what you're left with, you're going to pull the cable out, you'll be left with this. Okay, so this is our stock Mustang cable clutch here. And then what we will do, once we have this cable out, take it out, put it off to the side for now. We will then cut the end of this. This is where our rubber grommet came off of. From the factory, there's some nubs here. that don't clear inside of our clutch plate. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and cut this down about a 1/2 inch. This is going to rest inside here, which gives us our force that the cable is going to go up against and allow to hold the sheathing in place. So we've cut that. This is cut, like I said, there's a 1/2 inch between here and here. There's a 1/2 inch. I'm trying to keep these nice, easy round numbers. So once we've done that, we'll cut that a 1/2 inch. The next step, what we have done, and I laid it out on the board here with some measurements. I've taken my original cable, which is down here. I've measured this one out so I can make sure that these are getting replicated in the same fashion. So from the end of here on the edge of this stop, from here to the edge of the sheathing is about 30.5 inches. So we're going to want to cut the sheathing down. This is the sheathing. Like I said, so once you removed your cable's out of the way, you do not want to cut with the cable in there. So we're going to make 2 cuts. We're going to cut this down to a 1/2 inch. And like I said, once again, we could use an angle grinder. I'm using a Dremel, which seems to be easier to handle, easier to manage. So we've cut that down 1/2 inch. Our second cut, well, we're going to cut this cable. So on this end here that has the smaller white thin piece, we're going to measure from here to 30.5, mark it, cut the cable cut the sheathing all the way through. So you're going to cut it all the way through. So once we've done that, we will be left with a small little cable, as I'll show you over here what I'm doing. So it always helps to have a vise, second set of hands here. So what I've gone and done here is I've cut down our cable to 30 inches. Our other end has been cut the 1/2 inch off. So now we have a cable that's 30.5 inches. The next portion we want to do is we're going to cut back just the sheathing. So that's going to allow us to slip our collar over so that our cable will have a stop to go against. Oops, let me get that back in focus. So we're going to cut the sheathing back so our stop will have somewhere to rest against. For the depth of this cut, I got about 0.65. I don't know if these vary. You might want to just check the depth. The hole is tiny, and then there is a lip in there which the cable will rest on. So I've cut it back, just going around using the Dremel. Just gently go around, take your time, make sure you don't cut through the windings here because we're going to need these cables, either the reinforcement, the sheathing. So I've just gone around, taking it out. So once I've pulled it out, we're left back with the cable. It looks like we have an extra strand here, which we will probably end up cutting the back. Actually, we could leave it, looks like. We might just take it off just for a snugger fit. So I'm going to get some needle nose, unwind this a little bit, and then what we're going to do is slide this collar over, and then once we have this collar over, it's pretty good in place, but what I would like to do is just crimp it a little. We can crimp it maybe using like the vise. I have a pair of crimpers that I will be using to crimp this up just to kind of lock it in place. These were not crimped on the stock cables. You just pull them off. They're not very hard. Okay, so that's the first step. So let me get this off, let me get this crimped, and then we'll go to the measurements for our actual cable.